Hi, this is Jack, and you're listening to Scaling DevTools, the show that investigates how DevTools go from 0 to 1. Today's guest is Kuba, the CMO of Neptune.ai, a metadata store for ML ops. Kuba was previously a data scientist and a professional chess player. I think this is the first professional chess player we've had on. Kuba also runs a ton of stuff in the community of developer marketing, including an amazing developer marketing Slack channel that I'm a part of, and Developer Market Pair, a amazing blog on developer marketing. Kuba, it's great for you to join us today.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Kuba, you've written an ultimate guide to developer marketing. How should we be doing developer marketing?
Yeah, so I think there are a few core principles, and just so you know, there are many things that I'm still learning and tweaking, but some things seem to be pretty clear. So if there's anything I learned from marketing to devs, it is do not persuade. Try not to persuade your devs. I mean, they don't trust you. They don't believe that they can be persuaded by you. You're actually losing ground when you try to do that. The better way to do it is to try to educate them, enable them to do what they want to do, and inspire them to build. At the end of the day, devs are builders. They're building stuff, and when they're looking for tools, they want to get those tools to build better, to build quicker, to build what was just ruined maybe in their code or something. So they're about building things, building solutions, and that's what they do pretty much all day. So the first thing, don't persuade, educate, enable, and inspire. And there are many things that come from that. We can dive deeper, but that would be the first sort of core principle. So the second thing to think about is, and it's actually just good marketing, it's to understand who are your developers and where they are. Right. So seems simple, but people sometimes bucket devs and into sort of like put them in one bucket and think that, yeah, like those are developers. But if you think about it, like in our case, machine learning engineer, data scientist, it's a completely different developer sort of persona than a maybe more senior Java developer at some German enterprise. Like it's completely different. So, those folks will be in different places. They will need different language, different things. And the ways to get to them, to present your solution, to talk about the problems that are in their space or that you can help them do, it will be completely different. So again, it's just good marketing, but I think it's important to say that understanding your developer persona and going into the places where they are is super crucial, right? So obviously people are saying, good channels for devs are Twitter or maybe Reddit, or, devs don't like ads or something. Like it is, it's generally true. But if you think about your particular persona, where they are, maybe where they are in their journey, it may be valuable to them or it may not be. So, thinking about this, maybe a bit older Java developer maybe has, two kids and not a lot of time to, and maybe, not a lot of interest into, spending his time on Reddit. Going to Reddit to try and talk to this persona may be something that you cannot do, right? And you can talk to them, but that's not a way to do it. Actually, it could be interesting and it could work if you understand that. Maybe, you should be going for someone from their circle, maybe the work circle, maybe somebody who they are working with, maybe more junior person who is in all of those communities, who really wants to learn everything there is about Java and new frameworks and everything, and they will actually present your solution to that more senior person, their team. It's just understanding those journeys, I think, a lot. So being where they are, not where you want to be, I think really important. The third thing is very specific to devs. I think what is interesting is that as devs are building things all day, and then they're in front of their computer trying to solve problems that they actually have right now, they're looking for solutions to their problems all day. So if you can be there in those flows of them looking for their solutions, that's great. Because they are actually doing it. And it's not, if you think about your job as a marketer or in other niches, it's not that you're googling solutions to problems all day. That's not exactly what you're doing. Maybe the problems are a bit different. Maybe sometimes you Google, obviously, everyone Googles, but like with devs, that will be that is really happening a lot, right? Because this is part of your job. And then something sort of maybe external push that is very interesting in dev community. People want to upskill. They want to upskill, they want to learn new things, and there are two reasons for that. One, as a builder and as a person who loves their craft, you want to be better at your craft. So that could be a motivation for some group. For some other, it's a bit more down to earth if you're just thinking about job market and you're just thinking about your next position. right? And you're thinking, what should I know to maybe land a better job or just have a good situation on the job market, and you're looking at those different technologies. So you're sort of pushed to look for those new and different things that are out there, which maybe is not not that typical and not doesn't happen that often in other audiences. And then the third thing would be, when you actually get those people to your side, you get those people interested in the product and what do you do, try and let them do their thing, right? Get out of the way. So, they're builders, as we said, right? So, they want to build. The easiest way for a person to actually, have a smell or a feel of building is to try a product, right? So if you have it, if you have the sandbox environment or something like that, or just a free version of your tool that they can try and use, this is what they want. They don't really want to see a demo from someone, because this demo could be like the tool maybe is not actually working. I just want to see that it is working. So let them get to this, get out of the way, let them build. And if you can do that for various business reasons, although I don't know how many of those business reasons there are, if you think about it, you should let them, have some sort of a smell of building. And usually documentation is actually the smell of building, or code examples, where they get a smell of, hey, this is actually a real product. This is how they solve it. This is how we actually do it. When rubber hits the road, this is how I would code my situation. So, making sure that those examples and documentation is out there is really important. So I'd say my core 4 steps, I guess, or pieces to doing dev marketing.
That's really amazing. So you've outlined your 4 pillars of developer marketing, Kuba's 4 pillars of developer marketing. How are you applying these at Neptune?
So when you think about it, let's maybe take some things that are super vivid at what we're doing, right? So one thing I mentioned that is, people are actually looking for things, right? I mean, we are super heavy on SEO and blog. We write for our audience, which is machine learning engineers and data scientists. We're on a way to hit 2 million unique readers of the blog this year, which is pretty big considering, that we're a startup, Series A startup, and there are big names on the market competing for this real estate, if you will, in Google search. For a lot of those things that people are searching for, they will find us. So like we're actually touching on this very heavily. Thinking about those tools that I mentioned, like people are actually looking for different tools to solve different things, to be educated on what is out there. We actually have those listicles of various tools and in various categories that are sort of around what we do, so that we facilitate that as well. And that's how they may find out about us as well. So, that'll be one thing. The second thing is we're very heavy on creating good documentation, good examples that you can try without registration even, then having a free tier in the product so that you can actually use it up to a certain limit. You use it, and when you hit the limit or you want to work on a team, then you upgrade, or but otherwise you can just do your thing, build what you want to build. And in our case, it's a more of a record keeping, if you will, and a tool that helps in iterating over the models that you're building. But either way, I think that the ideas are the same, in the way where you can get into this and see that, hey, this could be the thing I need, and you can actually try it. And you can see those examples, you can see the docs, you can see the sandboxes and public projects or everything. So we really try to be heavy on that, so that you have almost zero investment, if you will, from yourself, even not even email, if you want to just try out the basic quick search or something. So I'd say that's important. And then when you think about the sort of maybe the persuasion part, just showing the options, that's I remember this one dev a couple months back. He said something like, "Show me the options and let me choose." And it feels like really devy. And that's when you think about it. Like common rule would be, hey, just have one CTA everywhere. I don't believe that's the best approach with devs. Like with a lot of devs, I think it's very navigational and like, show me the options, let me choose. I'll find my way. Like I have a problem right now, I'll find my way. If I want to learn something, I'll find my way. It's not about you telling me that this is the one thing I should do right now. I'm not convinced that in especially with individual contributor devs, this approach is better.
That's a very hot take. So forget about picking your CTA, have many potentially.
Stand by it. I mean, if you think about it, it's sort of like a decision tree as well. You sort of want to understand, like, hey, do you want to do this, do that at this point of the page? You already don't have people who wanted to try right away. So what they want to do, maybe they want to see a particular set of features. And great examples of teams that do it really well, if you go through their websites, is, for example, Tailwind. Tailwind CSS is just, I think it's just like an amazing example of how you build a homepage for devs. Yeah, if you see, the amount of different buttons and different information that is there, it's just huge. And but I think it really touches on what the devs need and want.
And they have an incredible rep within the community right now.
And rightfully so. There are other pages that are absolutely great. I really love Algolia's. Algolia is awesome. There are many good examples, but it's not, it's not a one button. It's definitely not in most cases.
Kuba, I can't not ask you a little bit about your SEO strategy now that you're hitting 2 million visitors on Neptune. How are you thinking about SEO?
Yeah. So hey, I'm not gonna give you all the secrets, if you will, but
Let's have the
at the end of the
secrets.
day, I don't know if there are that many secrets. So the way I think about it is like you start thinking with the awareness funnel and understanding. So for those who don't know, you have unaware, problem aware, then there is solution aware, product aware, most aware, different groups. And the most aware search query would be something like Neptune pricing, right? That would be the most aware. Somebody is just checking the price maybe once in a while because he's looking for some discounts or maybe changes in pricing or something. Then the product aware would be that person understands all the features and everything. What do you do? Then the solution aware would be what are the tools in the space. And problem aware, what are the problems that those tools can solve and they're solving. And then unaware is that I have a problem, or that that there is that the problem has a name, and things like that. So what I think is best is to sort of go down from most aware and just think about what are the things that your people are searching, and start filling it from the top. And over time get the space basically. So like there are a lot of technical stuff with linking things and creating those articles so that they are nicely searchable and have all the good H2s, H3s and things like that. But like overall, I think that the strategy is to just have a strategy. It's not about posting everything, but understand what are the keywords you actually want, what are the keywords connected to it, how can I rank for them. So yeah, I'd say that's that. And I think ideally, and some teams manage to do it, like Stripe and Algolia, is where you actually get the search to the docs directly. That's just the holy grail. So like somebody's looking for payment solution for Python or something, and you end up on a integration page for, I don't know, a Python API for Stripe page. It can get better than that, but we're not there yet. Maybe someday. I think that would be absolutely ideal, right? In order to do that, the market needs to be at a certain maturity, etc. I think in terms of
Mm.
like the amount of people searching for those things, I think that would be the ideal stage.
The last question I have for you, Kuba, is how are you thinking about allocating your resources now that you're the CMO of Neptune?
It's a good question. So like I think about allocating resources as if there were bets, as if that was my, sort of investment portfolio, and I have bets that I'm making, right? So you have your sort of core part of the portfolio, maybe a bit less risk, less risky. The potential return is what you're going to get from it. Then there are more risky bets, so you allocate maybe less resources, but you kind of hope that it's going to hit gold. And then actually when you're testing those new channels, you try to put as little resources as possible to get to an MVP of a channel, if you will, right? So there is this great book from Weinberg, Traction, that talks about this bullseye framework that does that, where we divide it between experimentation and optimization. And during experimentation we try to test out whether this could be working, and then in optimization you're actually optimizing particular channel. And something that I want to add to that is that I try to almost think about this, even go further with this investment analogy, if you will, is we have this culture of extreme ownership. I mean, it's certain tweaks to it, I guess, to the original on our team. I really like to think about all the folks working on those projects and programs and experiments on my team as CEOs of those channels, or CEO of the program, CEOs. So like people are actually thinking that this is a small business that they're running, and there is an investment coming from an investor who is thinking about where to invest their resources. It's on them to figure out how to do it. And as an investor, I really want to help, because my money is in this, but ultimately I cannot run it for anyone, right? Like they have to do it themselves. So I really like this CEO analogy there.
That's really, really cool. Okay, so that's all we have time for today. But Kuba, thank you so much for joining. If people want to learn a bit more about you or what you're working on, where can they find more?
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn at Kuba Czakon. You can find my blog at developermarketer.com. And also, it would be awesome if you join our marketing to dev community, where we're talking about this stuff on Slack, and I really try to be very active there.
I can confirm it's a great community. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.